Hello. Happy Friday evening, everyone. I hope you're not hearing a lot of background noise because I've got kids running around upstairs. But we're going to work through it no matter what. So let's go ahead and get started for this Friday evening. I wanted to give you guys... Sorry, my kids are literally right outside my office door and they're playing hide and seek and they all decided to congregate right out the door. So I apologize if it's going to take me a second to get started. No, they're still here. Okay, well, whatever. Let's keep going through this. So, guys, February 5th update. Wanted to give you guys another weekly update on the progress of my business. We're striving to reach a goal of $500,000 in sales by the end of this year. So we just closed out January. We're on already February 5th. So I wanted to use this time to just do a very brief live update for everyone on what the progress has been since last week. Before I jump in there, I want to really quickly hit on, I've been finding more time to read. And so I've been reading a lot on this young gentleman here, Sam Walton, Made in America. So for those of you who don't know, he founded Walmart. Fantastically easy to read. It's a great autobiography. He unfortunately passed in the early 90s. And what the majority of us know as Walmart today is not the Walmart that he made, because we grew up, my generation grew up way after Sam Walton had already left this earth. But what's really interesting for me, and I just want to share this with anyone out there who's thinking about their own business or what to do with their life, is he didn't start his own first, it was called a variety store back then, like a general store, before he did any department stores or anything like Walmart. His first store he opened at the age of 27. It wasn't until 17 years later that Sam Walton would open his first Walmart, what you guys know today as Walmart. He was 44 when he opened his first Walmart. It took him 17 years to figure out exactly the type of business and business model he wanted to do. Now, as some of you may know, I'm doing an online retail business, which is same industry, a slightly different medium in which I sell and fulfill my orders. I don't have a brick and mortar store, at least not today. But the idea that it took him 17 years to build just the first location, right? Not the multi-billion-dollar company that we know as Walmart today. It should give you some encouragement. The other thing too is last week I turned 34 years old, and my parents were over and we were talking. My dad said to me, "Hey, when I was 34, that's when we made the decision as a family to immigrate to the U.S." So my parents already had master's degrees in Ukraine. They were, educated. They were smart, hardworking. At the age of 34, they left their country and came to another country and started their lives all over again. And so it just blows my mind because I grew up in America. I had access to English. I had access to an American education system, and I just turned 34. And I'm, relative to my parents, light years ahead, but I tremendously respect everything they did and the sacrifices they made to get to where they are today. And how you measure success, I don't know. I think that's irrelevant. But the point I'm making is that they worked incredibly hard. And in America, they proved to me as a child that if you push and work hard enough for anything in America, you can achieve it. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the update for this week. Let's pull up this. One second while I pull this up. So what we have here, I'm going to throw myself here in the middle. So this is our daily sales going from January on the left-hand side to February on the right-hand side. So you can see the blue line is our day-over-day sales. And here, we've kind of been on average doing okay since January. We had a huge lift at the end of the holiday season, as well as a lot of people spending their stimulus money with me, which I appreciate. And then the orange line up here, which I'm kind of covering now, but let me drop this. You can see our cumulative sales. We're nearing 31,000. So the point is what are the trends? What's causing us to kind of stagnate a little bit on sales, and how do we overcome that? So last week, let me pull this down. Sorry for the black screen, everyone. So last week we talked a little bit about that weekly revenue. It was right at $3,000. Since last Friday, we jumped up to around $4,000, so about a $900 lift in weekly sales. And so the question is how do we continue to get that lift, right? Because if you look at our year-to-date revenue, so it's February 5th, so taking into account all of January as well as most of today, Friday, how do I get out of this? We're at roughly $31,000 in year-to-date revenue. So if you were to annualize that, right, if you were to take January 31st and multiply it by 12, we're at $327,000. So if the remaining 11 months of the year were going to be as good as January, then we're going to fall short of our $500,000 goal. So that, to me, tells me that even though January was a relatively good month, we actually need to be doing better than that, right? So we need to increase our sales in order for us to hit that $500,000 goal. So, but nonetheless, for the first month of the year, not a bad start. But let's see how February does. Then the other thing I'd like to show you guys, this is not a real finance metric, but I like to show the year-to-date investment cost. So this is how much I spent on inventory, all in, and that's balanced against my total revenue year-to-date. So I'm still kind of in the hole, roughly $28,000 this year, but compared to last year, that's changed. We've improved it by about $3,500. So you can see how that's improved. So that's kind of, really the question is what else would we need to be doing? So I keep talking about my strategic framework, and a lot of what we've been improving and working on these last few weeks is listing more items. So we have, I've kind of left my handful of listings live, but I have a guy who works for me now. His name is Tim. He's doing a fantastic job listing more and more and more and more items. So it's very, very similar in the sense that the more items you can get out there, the more views you can get, and the more sales and you're going to get, because you're just going to have more stuff. So it's naturally just a numbers thing. So we're really pushing the listing side. And then a lot of what I'm going to be getting into the next few weeks is really pushing the marketing efforts on my end. So one of the things I've tried, I'm actually changed my pricing strategy. So I used to, just so for those of you who want to know, everything I had listed, you have an average price, say a pair of headphones, $75. I'm going to price it at $80, free shipping, good service, and kind of really try to position it as like, hey, people should pay a premium. And that's good for me because on the pricing side, my profit margins are better, but then I trade up volume. So I'm doing less sales than I would like to because I'm being a little bit more stingy on the sales price. And what I've also learned is one of the largest variables that you can't really control is shipping costs. So when I offer free shipping, people love it, especially when they live in California or Puerto Rico, which is still in the US. They get free shipping on all of my items. And so my approach originally with eBay was, okay, well, if I do free shipping, I'm going to get more exposure. I'm going to get more sales because of that, because people like it. And I don't know that I honestly see a difference because I've been speaking to other people who do calculated shipping, which means that you pay a shipping fee for whatever you buy depending on where you live. So if you live in North Carolina, you'll pay a couple bucks. If you live in Hawaii, you'll pay $60. So it kind of scales. So I've shifted my pricing strategy. I actually dropped my pricing, doing in-store promotions. So my pricing, an item that would be averaging $75, I was selling it at $80. Now I'm pricing it at $60 or $65, but now it includes calculated shipping. The net result, if you think about it, is actually the same. But what I now have eliminated from my pricing or my profitability issues is the lack of control on where I'm shipping. Right, so on average, you figure if I ship here, I ship there. So on average, I'm going to spend $5 to $10 per item to ship. But now I don't care about that because the customer, the buyer, has to deal with the calculated shipping. So I'm literally, as I'm talking, I'm seeing the sales go up. I'm selling one specific pair of headphones that were maybe 2 or 3 units a week. I sold 8 today. And it's just Friday evening, it's just starting. But it's again, the pricing strategy and kind of that whole promotional side where I can eliminate my sales cost, my shipping costs. My end result is basically the same, but I'm now moving a lot more units. So I'm really curious. We did the same pricing strategy for about a dozen of my items. I'm really curious to see how they perform over the weekend. I think it'll give us a lift in volume, and it also will help us to maintain a pretty strong profit margin at the end of the day. So we will see that next week. Of course, we will talk about how the revenue has shifted between this week and next week. But otherwise, I don't see that anyone's posted any comments or questions. You guys, why I'm doing the live stream is because for anybody who's online, I would eventually would love to interface or have a dialogue with you guys as well. But if not, I appreciate everybody tuning in, and thank you for joining. I hope everyone has a good weekend. And until then, I'll see you guys next time.